Hello, my name is Juanita Bastidas and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a PhD candidate in the Sociology Department at Loyola University Chicago, and I'm very excited to be part of our department's Ask a Sociology series. Today, I will be speaking about my experience using games to teach sociology. In this short video, I'll talk about the theories that support using games in the classroom, and specifically applied and experiential learning and Black feminist pedagogy and its focus in embodiment. Then I'll walk you through the game that I used in one of my classes, how I prepared my students for it, the essay they wrote afterwards, and some of the feedback they shared. So why using games? Using games in the classroom draws from applied and experiential learning theory. Experiential learning emphasizes the importance of people interacting with the environment and reflecting on those experiences. This model sees learning as a process where knowledge is created through meaningful, transformative experiences. It follows a four-stage cycle. First, concrete experience, next, reflective observation, then abstract conceptualization, and finally, active experimentation. Traditionally, this model involves experiences outside of the classroom, but it's just as powerful inside the classroom. Games, role plays, and simulations are all tools that we can use to help students actively engage with course concepts and apply them in real time. Games also tap into key ideas of Black feminist pedagogy, especially embodiment. As human beings, we weren't really designed to sit for 75 minutes and listen to lectures. Black feminist pedagogy challenges this false dichotomy between mind and body, arguing that the body is also a source of knowledge. Learning for them isn't just about thinking, but it's also about feeling and moving. And when we ask our students to bring their full selves into learning, we can create richer, more engaging educational experiences. So the class that I taught. Last semester, I had the pleasure to teach Self and Society, a course that centers two big sociological questions. First, how am I as a social being shaped by society? And two, how do I, in turn, help shape society? We examine how the self is both a product of social forces and an active participant in social life. I have 12 students and we met twice a week. Our key learning objectives were 1, to understand theories that explain the relationship between self and society, 2, to analyze how social structures like race, gender, sexuality, disability, and nation shape individuals' experiences, 3, to explore the spaces where self and society meet, that be home, that be school or work, and 4, to evaluate how individuals and groups organize to change society. So when designing this course, I wanted to create a fun way to teach some of these concepts like symbolic interactionism. And I came across an article in Teaching Sociology by Christopher Connor and Nicholas Baxter. And in this article, they described using the game Werewolf to teach symbolic interactionism and help students explore how people construct and negotiate meaning in face-to-face interaction. Inspired by their work, I decided to use the game in class and paired with our first major assignment, an applied essay connecting course concepts to a student's experiences playing the game. We played Werewolf in week 5 after covering key concepts like socialization, interaction, internalization, personal identity, reflective identity, symbols, and shared meanings. So to prep my students for this game, the week before the game, students worked in small groups to define the concepts in their own words and draw concept maps showing how they would relate. I gave them feedback and returned their work before the game day. Then the Tuesday before we played the game, I explained the game's rules and made sure that all of the students had the instructions clear. We also filled out a prediction sheet of what strategies they would use if they had one rule versus the other. We also reviewed expectations for applied essays, how to use ASA citations, and the grading rubric. So about the game. Werewolf is really a social deception game. Players are secretly assigned roles as either villagers or werewolves, and the goal for the villagers is to figure out who the werewolves are before they're eliminated during the night phase. Using a deck of cards, I assigned 2 werewolves with jokers and 10 villagers with numbered cards. And I served as the moderator, guiding us through the 3 different phases of the game. The night, where werewolves silently choose someone to eliminate, the day, where everyone wakes up and discusses who may be the suspect, and the trial, when the group votes to eliminate one of the players. Rounds continue until the werewolves are either eliminated or outnumbered by villagers, and students were asked to take notes during the game. Now, about the essay. So after the game, students had to write a 3-page essay applying at least 8 of the concepts that we had learned in class to what was happening during the gameplay. They were asked to define each concept, apply it to a specific moment in the game, and use ASA citations throughout. Some of the guiding questions included: how did players interact? What symbols shaped interactions? How were roles and identities constructed? How did others' perceptions of you influence the role and the identity that you were playing with? Essays were graded on clarity, depth of analysis, application of concepts, and insights. So the essays were really fantastic. Students described how they relied on body language, fidgeting, tone, or who spoke first to decode roles, demonstrating their understanding of symbols and shared meanings. Many tried to build a personal identity rooted in, for instance, care roles, like a nurse or a mother, in their strategy to signal innocence. They also explored how their reflective identities shifted as they were being perceived by others and had to apply and accommodate to those feedbacks. So in terms of the feedback, student feedback confirmed that the approach really worked. One 4th-year student majoring in psychology and Spanish, for instance, said, "I thought the activity was so fun and engaging. It's not often that we get to play games at this level of education. It was refreshing, and it was also relevant and easy to write. While writing, I realized how much more I noticed in the game than I thought at the time. I made abstract ideas more digestible." A 2nd-year sociology major also shared, "The Are You Werewolf activity helped me think about our key concepts in a new way. I was able to understand the sociological imagination on a smaller scale. It made it easier to apply for the real world. The activity also helped build class relationships and made it easier to participate in discussions. Overall, I had a lot of fun and my students did too. I loved using this game as a teaching tool, and there are so many other creative ways in which we can implement games to teach sociology and make sociology come alive in the classroom. If you've ever played a game in sociology class or used one to teach, let us know in the comments. Thank you so much."